In the chapter of mechanics, today we're gonna study mechanics of position. Moving further, mechanics of position includes gravity, the center of gravity, line of gravity, base, equilibrium, fixation, and stabilization. What is gravity? Who discovered it? As we have studied earlier that while thinking about the forces of nature, Newton discovered gravity. He saw a falling apple from the tree. From that observation, he concluded that there is a force of attraction exists between all material objects, and this force of attraction he termed as gravity. Gravity is the most common external force to which the body is subjected. It is the force of attraction that attracts a body towards the center of the earth or towards any other physical body having mass. The gravitational attraction of the earth for every other body is directed towards the earth's center. Magnitude of force of gravity is directly proportional to the mass of the body and the square of the distance between the bodies. The force of gravity is continuously acting upon the human body, and it is always directed towards the center of the earth. But if this gravitational force is unopposed by a person, will suddenly fall to the ground. On the body, the effects of gravity can be counterbalanced when a force of equal magnitude but in opposite direction is applied. However, if a force of greater magnitude is applied, movement will occur in the direction of applied force. There are various techniques and methods through which the force of gravity can be either eliminated or counterbalanced. For example, applying the support of plinth. Effects of buoyancy of water, which have marvelous result in aquatic exercise. This effect eliminated the action of gravity and helped weaker muscles to perform their action. Similarly, isometric muscular contraction and adapting anti-gravity position assist patients to perform particular activity or movement. Let's see the example of muscles, how they assist in maintaining a position. In the joints, movement occurs as a result of force of gravity or by a muscular action, and both counterbalance the effect of each other. In standing position, our body is balanced by sustained contraction of muscles. Those muscles are also known as anti-gravity muscles. Make it more easy and take an example from daily routine activity. When you stand on your toe, or you can say when you do toe standing, your heel is raised and it remains in the air till the calf muscles are present on your posterior side of the leg remain contracted. So basically your calf muscles works in opposite direction and nullify the effect of gravity, and if you lowered your heels muscle become relaxed by action of gravity. Now see an example of variation in position. Did you ever notice when you hold a weight in vertical position, it takes less effort, but when you slightly lowered your arm while holding the same weight of your muscles get strained quickly? This is because there is a vertical pull from the force of gravity, which is directing downward. But lower the forearm angle, this pull increases and your arms start getting fatigued. And if there is a muscular weakness, you ultimately drop the weight. So be conscious while working clinically and always consider the effect of gravity, weight, and position of resistance because it varies according patient's muscular power and strength, age, and condition. Factors which counterbalance the gravity have common applications in therapeutics. When the resistance of gravity is not desired, example in weak muscles or in poor muscle power condition, the resistance of the body can be reduced by immersing the body in water, where the body is bound up by a force equal to the weight of the water displaced to balance the gravitational force on the body. Canes and crutches also help to reduce gravitational forces on a weak or poor tender parts. When resistance is desired, stationary or resistant structures and manual loads are utilized in developing isometric muscular contraction. In therapeutic exercise, for instance, friction devices to offer load resistance against muscle contraction are popular. A variety of elastic materials are used such as springs and tubes where the line of resistance lies along the length of the elastic material. The center of gravity is an imaginary point in which the mass or weight of object is concentrated. Or you can say that center of gravity of an object or body is a theoretical point around which the mass of object is balanced. Perhaps this point is also known as center of mass. Another definition of center of gravity is that center of gravity is the point where all three cardinal planes intersect each other. As we have studied that center of gravity of a rigid body is the point through which the Earth's attraction effectively acts, no matter whatever the position of body is. Now if you see the figure, in this figure a man is standing on a balance board. Here the center of gravity or the point of balance is just located on the center of balance board. Similarly, now you can observe what we have studied in the previous slides. Now, if you look in this picture, which is a model subject, in the first picture, the center of gravity is located just about 1 inch to the top of the second sacral segment, which shows that women have center of gravity vertically lower than men because their bodies are bigger, they have narrow shoulders and wide pelvis. So the position of center of gravity in women is relative height of 55% of the total height, while in men it is about 57%. In children, the position of center of gravity is relatively higher as compared to adults because children have relatively bigger head and shorter legs than adults. Location of center of gravity will vary somewhat according to body type, age and sex, and upward, downward or sideward shift in the accordance with normal position, movements and abnormal neuromuscular skeletal disorders. Age affects the location of center of gravity because affect body part mass proportion. In newborn, the upper part of the body is heavier than the lower part of the center of gravity is higher than in adults. With advanced age, the center of gravity becomes lower. Position of center of gravity depends upon multiple factors. When the center of gravity is above the base of support and the pull of gravity is successfully resisted by supporting members, an equilibrium of force or a state of balance is reached and no motion occurs, which means closer the body's center of gravity to its base of support, the more stable it is, and the reason behind is that it's because of resisting movement, which is the product of weight and distance. Point number 2, which means that stability of an object is indirectly proportional to the height of its center of mass above its base. For example, a book laid flat upon a table, it is difficult to upset as compared to one standing on a narrow end. The location of center of gravity remains fixed as long as the body does not change the shape. If an object's shape or position changes, the location of the center of gravity changes. Here you can see the gymnast is in balanced position because the center of gravity of the gymnast's body is located directly over the hands, that is base of support. More you will go away from the center of gravity, the more your weight will decrease. Moreover, center of gravity is also depend upon the accumulation of fat and the loss of soft tissue tone. Therefore, you can say that center of gravity shifts with each change in body alignment and the amount of weight borne on the joints. And the pull of the muscles vary within reasonable limits with each body movement. Adequate compensation is provided for in the healthy and structurally balanced person or in neutral position. Did you ever notice if a person carries a backpack or a heavy weight on his back, he leans forward? It is because the center of gravity moves backward, and as a compensatory mechanism, the person moves his trunk forward to prevent from falling. In amputation, the center of gravity moves away from the amputated limb towards the healthy side. Now, in this case of amputation of the left leg, the center of gravity will move upward and toward the right side. When making an artificial limb, prosthetists focus that the weight of the artificial limb should be equal to the weight of the healthy limb, in order to avoid abnormal distribution of weight on body segments. The line of gravity is a vertical line projecting through the center of gravity. It is important to study it because the relationship of body structures to this line is subject to considerable variation in accordance with individual differences in posture and anatomical structures. Look in the upright position. The line of gravity is passing through the vertex between the feet, mid of the cervical vertebrae, front of thoracic vertebrae, mid of the lumbar vertebrae, posterior to hip and anterior to knee and ankle.